dear. I have some really good stuff for you today. I'm kind of on a single ladies kick, um, but this one actually involves children. So I have a couple of clients that are trying to move forward with their lives and are really having a hard time figuring out whether it's time for them to start dating or not and incorporating the kids. And how do I do that? How do I know that it's time for me to move forward in my dating life? And so I kind of thought that it would be a good idea to give all of you some pointers on when it's right, especially when you have children. So the first thing that I want you to think about is balance. It is the most important thing, not just what your children think of him. I think people think backwards about the whole concept of dating. They think, well, when they meet somebody, will Lil Ray Ray or whomever like John or whomever. But I think if we flip the coin a little bit and make sure that our lives are balanced, then our children will feel comfortable in accepting the person that we choose. Our children are connected to us spiritually. We created them, they come from us. So there are things that they understand about us that we do not have to voice. They know when we're happy, sad, mad, frustrated, scared, uncomfortable, in a great place. They can feel all of this. So it's important to have this balance because your children are aware as to whether you are balanced or not. And if you aren't and you're trying to include another person into the fold and have a relationship, which already is complicated in and of itself, then they will typically not like who you choose because they don't feel that you're ready. Will they be able to voice that? Absolutely not. They are not able to voice groanings from the spirit all the time. But this typically is what's happening. So, when I talk about balance, I'm talking about balance in all spheres, all areas of life. It is my opinion that if you take care of yourself in all areas, then life will be much more doable. What do I mean? I mean physically. Do you exercise? I mean spiritually. What do you do to take care of your spirit man? Because all of us have one. I mean, emotionally, do you journal? Do you talk to a friend to decompress, to get some things off your chest, or to take some things on and kind of grow emotionally? And finally, mentally and intellectually, you should be trying to grow and stretch yourself and learn some things. Are you reading? Are you back in school? What are you doing to become smarter than you were yesterday? And so when you get really good at it, you should be focused on these four areas and not lay your head down at night without attending to self in all of these areas in some kind of way each day. And so the closer you are to creating that kind of balance, physical, spiritual, emotional, mental, and intellectually, the more comfortable your children will be with you moving forward in another relationship. So don't think about it backwards that they need to be comfortable with the man. No, they need to be able to have confidence in you. And that can only be demonstrated. You can't just say, if you create balance in all of these areas, then and only then should you add a relationship. If you are not balanced, why, my dear sweetheart, why are you thinking about dating? Think about it. If you're not balanced physically, you're not taking care of your body. If you're not balanced emotionally, and you are all over the place, three sheets to the wind, and crazy as all get out because of your last relationship or whatever is going on in your life. If you are not if you're not balanced spiritually, if you are not balanced intellectually or mentally, you don't know what's going on in the world. What man is going to want you? I mean, really, there's going to be somebody. Cuteness can only get you so far. But what man of value is going to want you? So it would behoove you that if you ultimately want a man of value, that you make sure that you take the time to create a woman of worth. Let me say that again. If you want a man of value, be sure to take the time to create a woman of, because you as a single woman with children is different from who you were as a single woman without children. You have to reestablish your standards, what you would and would not accept from a man when you were just single and family differently. As soon as your child comes into the world, you view life differently, you do things differently, you might drive even a little bit slower. Somebody said that to me one time, and you know who you are, you're probably watching this video. She asked me, do you drive slower? I was like, don't judge me. The point is, you change when you have kids. And so you need to think about what your new standards are when you have children that are in the picture. You don't do that. You may be applying old and stale relationship, and that's not appropriate, and it's not viable either. Moving on. Even Mr. Right will present as Mr. Wrong when you aren't the focus. First, think, are your children in a good place? B, are you who you want to be? And C, is your life yielding you the ability to divide your attention at this time? All three of those questions should be answered with a yes time. If your children are all over the place, or even if they are, and let me say this, moms, grades are not a measure of whether your child is in a good place mentally. Please stop doing that. Oh, he gets A's, girl, he's good. No. I need you to check in with your kids. I need you to think about how they're doing. I need you to talk to them. I need you to peek in and put your glass up against the door to see if they're crying in the bed at night and don't want to tell you and stress you out because you're now a single mom. I need you to think about these things because your children may not be as good as you think they are. So you need to make sure that you take the time to focus on them to figure out, are they in a good place beyond their academic life? And are you who you want to be? If Mr. Right rode in on his little white horse to come and save the day, would he be picking up the young woman or the lady that you want to present? Kind of, are there kinks that you need to work out, things that you need to focus on, things you need to do? You need to do those things, because if you're focused on finding a man, then you won't be focused on doing those things. And finally, is your life yielding you the ability to divide your attention at this time? Sometimes kids or life just in general presents you with a set of circumstances that it's not reasonable for you to add something else on to yourself. You know, I always say to my parents that parenting is like one long example of delayed gratification. There are so many things that you have to wait for. You have to wait for thank yous. You have to wait for appreciation. You have to wait for them to grow for a real relationship. You can't be their friend. You got to wait for that. You got to wait for everything as far as parenting is concerned. And so sometimes you have to put your relationship or want for a relationship on the back burner because there just isn't allotted that you can split it to do something that you just simply want to do. You have to take care of what you have to do first, and then that will allow you the ability to do what you want to do. And so if you think about it that way, putting what you have to do first, you should be able to honestly answer that question, yes or no. Finally, girls, if all you can think about is finding a man, do not collect 200. Start over. It's not time. If all you can think about is getting a boyfriend or being with somebody, you now need to focus on why. You got things to do. And yes, everybody wants companionship. Please don't get me wrong. I understand this concept. I get it. I want it too. But when this is the set of circumstances that we have to do things in order, because remember that this is about an ultimate goal, not just what I can create for myself today so that I don't have to be lonely, or I don't have to be sad, or I don't have to be the only girl without a boyfriend at the wedding. That's not what this is about. This is about a long-term thing that we want to create for ourselves far down the road, that our kids can ultimately benefit from, that I benefit from, that everyone has a gain here. And it's not just for 3 to 6 months, or when I can't stand you just got to get out of my house type of thing. Okay? So think about those ladies. Pass this video on to your friends who have children that are single and are thinking about getting into a relationship. Talk to each other. Ask, are you really ready? You know, we need to really hold each other accountable, sisters. We do. We need, ladies, we need to talk to each other, because I know sometimes we'll kind of watch each other be tied to the train tracks, afraid to say anything because everybody's on this, well, I'm not judging. But we have to be able to be accountable to one another. That's the only way that we survive as a human race. We don't survive without being accountable to one another. We have to listen to each other. We have to look in each other's eyes and say the truth, and then we have to be able to receive it. So if you see your sister doing something off, you got to pull it to the side and let her know. Let her know her slip is showing. Let her make her think about some things about herself that she hadn't thought prior to you speaking to her. And if she doesn't want to receive it, well, you've done your due diligence. But make sure that you're doing your work as well. That's it. I love you guys. Pass this on, and